In spite of. In spite of is a prepositional phrase used to indicate that something occurs or exists despite a particular circumstance, obstacle, or condition. It conveys the idea of persistence or resilience in the face of adversity or contrary factors. Examples: in spite of the rain, we decided to have a picnic. In spite of his fear of heights, he climbed to the top of the mountain. In spite of her busy schedule, she always finds time for her family. In spite of the obstacles, they successfully completed the project. In spite of his lack of experience, he managed to impress everyone with his performance. In spite of the criticism, she remained confident in her abilities. In spite of the economic downturn, the company continued to thrive. In spite of the disagreement, they remained good friends. In spite of the delays, the construction project was completed on time. In spite of the injury, he still participated in the marathon. By virtue of. By virtue of is a phrase that signifies something is achieved or possessed as a result of inherent qualities, authority, or entitlement. It implies that a particular outcome or privilege is derived from the inherent nature or status of a person, thing, or circumstance. Examples: she gained access to the event by virtue of her VIP pass. By virtue of his seniority, he was appointed as the team leader. The company obtained the contract by virtue of its reputation for quality. By virtue of his skill and expertise, he was recognized as a leading expert in his field. She became president of the club by virtue of her election. By virtue of their hard work, they earned the top positions in the competition. He enjoyed certain privileges by virtue of his family's wealth. The team qualified for the finals by virtue of their strong performance in the earlier rounds. By virtue of his position in the company, he had access to confidential information. She was granted citizenship by virtue of being born in the country. In view of. In view of is a phrase used to introduce a consideration or factor that influences a decision, action, or judgment. It suggests that the following statement or action is based on or takes into account a particular circumstance, situation, or perspective. Examples: in view of the recent developments, we have decided to postpone the meeting. In view of the budget constraints, we need to find cost-effective solutions. In view of his qualifications, he was offered the job without an interview. In view of the weather forecast, we should bring umbrellas to the outdoor event. In view of the company's financial performance, bonuses will be awarded to employees. In view of the current situation, it's important to remain calm and composed. In view of her excellent performance, she was promoted to a higher position. In view of the safety concerns, the event organizers implemented strict security measures. In view of the public's feedback, the company decided to revise its marketing strategy. In view of his contributions to the community, he was honored with an award. In accordance with. In accordance with is a phrase used to indicate that something is done or carried out in agreement with a particular rule, guideline, standard, or expectation. It implies conformity or compliance with a specified requirement or protocol. Examples: The project was completed in accordance with the specifications provided by the client. All employees must conduct themselves in accordance with company policies and procedures. The investigation will be conducted in accordance with federal regulations. Payments will be made in accordance with the terms outlined in the contract. In accordance with tradition, the ceremony will begin at noon. The decision was made in accordance with the recommendations of the advisory committee. All construction must be carried out in accordance with local building codes. The event will proceed in accordance with the schedule provided to attendees. Students are required to submit their assignments in accordance with the deadlines set by their instructors. The new legislation will be implemented in accordance with public opinion and feedback. Subsequent to. Subsequent to is a phrase indicating that something occurs or exists after a particular event or point in time. It denotes a chronological sequence, suggesting that the mentioned action or occurrence follows another in time order. Examples: subsequent to the meeting, a decision will be made regarding the project. The report will be sent to you subsequent to our discussion. Subsequent to his graduation, he plans to pursue further studies. The changes were implemented subsequent to the completion of the review process. Subsequent to the accident, she experienced pain in her back. The policy was revised subsequent to feedback from customers. Subsequent to his appointment, he assumed his duties as CEO. The repairs will be completed subsequent to the assessment of the damage. Subsequent to the announcement, there was a significant increase in stock prices. The publication of the book is scheduled for subsequent to the author's revisions. Pursuant to. Pursuant to is a legal term used to indicate that something is done or carried out in accordance with a specific law, regulation, or legal document. It suggests that an action is being taken as a result of following or conforming to a particular requirement or authority. Examples: the defendant was arrested pursuant to a warrant issued by the court. Pursuant to the terms of the contract, payment is due within 30 days of receipt of invoice. The committee was formed pursuant to a resolution passed by the board of directors. The changes were made pursuant to feedback received from stakeholders. Pursuant to company policy, all employees are required to attend annual training sessions. The property was transferred to the new owner pursuant to a deed of sale. Pursuant to the city ordinance, all dogs must be kept on a leash in public parks. The document was signed pursuant to the instructions provided by the legal team. Pursuant to the agreement reached between the two parties, a settlement was reached. The investigation was initiated pursuant to allegations of misconduct within the organization.